In this week's immensely epic chapter of Hunter x Hunter, Hisoka and Chrollo, the leader of Phantom Troop, continue to have a battle to the death. And in this week's chapter, Hisoka decides to use his head. Or it's more safe to say he decides to use someone else's. This might be the first chapter since Hunter x Hunter has returned that I could actually read really quick, and that's because this week's chapter had a lot of really kick-ass action to it. Chrollo has just disappeared into the stands, transforming into other people, and turning all of these people into his very own personal attack puppets, which all attack Hisoka from multiple angles. Although this is not really much of a problem for him, it gives him the perfect opportunity to try and figure out what Chrollo is doing, while also snapping a lot of necks and kicking a lot of ass. No matter how many guys come at Hisoka, he always manages to come out on top by just destroying all of them with a lot of really big, impactful attacks. I especially loved that one panel where you could see that they were all climbing on top of each other, kind of like those zombies from that one Brad Pitt movie, and they get right up next to Hisoka, and he starts to pump up his leg, and then in the next panel, he just kicks this one dude right in the jaw, which presumably will break his neck on impact. While all of this is going on, he is simply just trying to figure out what exactly Chrollo is doing, while everybody is just panicking, trying to run away, because they realize, look, we could stay here and watch the fight, but there's a good chance we're going to get caught in the crossfire, and even worse, we might even get turned into one of Chrollo's puppets, which means there's like a 99% chance that Hisoka is going to kill you anyway. And that just adds a lot of great tension to this. This and the fact that Chrollo will suddenly sort of appear from different angles and from the shadows to attack Hisoka, and Hisoka is really put against the ropes in this chapter. That is until about midway through where you get to see that he's actually really enjoying the battle and has what is quite possibly the funniest orgasmic Hisoka scene that I've seen from the entire series. Like, you guys remember when he was fighting against Gon for the very first time in the same arena, where he was basically just getting a big hard-on during the entire battle? This time it's taken to this hilarious level where after being beaten by Chrollo, he's flying around in midair, completely naked looking, not actually in the battle, it's just a really funny visual, with his junk just glowing and glistening, and he is having a freaking blast. The scene is hilarious, and it also lets you realize that Hisoka is not going to go down that easily, especially when you get to the final parts of this week's chapter, where it almost seems like Chrollo is going to defeat him. In fact, he gets this one big hit in, where he comes down from the sky, stomps down directly on Hisoka, but that's when Hisoka uses his tried-and-true bungee gum abilities to actually pick up the severed heads from the puppets that he's been using, and uses them as weapons against Chrollo. In fact, he allowed himself to be attacked in the final panel just so that he could land another attack on Chrollo! Oh, Hisoka is so frickin' awesome! So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter? Just metal. That's really the only way to describe this chapter right here. Hisoka is always a really surprising character, mostly because he's very hard to read. Even though in this chapter he's having kind of a tough time trying to find Chrollo and dodge all of the puppet bodies which are trying to attack him, he has actually all been letting this be a plan for him to get close to Chrollo so that he could attack him, even going as far as to having his head smashed into the frickin' pavement. That final panel where you have his expression where you can tell that he is just having a really great time is fantastic. That combined with the amazing artwork in this chapter made it great. All the action scenes looked really good, and this artist is really good at letting you see the impact of an attack and letting you know how freaking powerful it is. The one thing that I got from this chapter, though, is that it kept making me think about the Hunter x Hunter anime series and how much I would want to see this fight animated, because they did some amazing fight scenes from that show, and if they could translate the speed and power to that into an anime version, my god, guys, this could very well be one of the best battles from the entire series. I'd say if I had a top 5, this is like bordering on number 2 and number 1. It's just so damned exciting, and I still have no idea where it's going. It's a battle to the death, but I still don't think Chrollo or Hisoka are going to be killed in this battle. They're way too important characters. There's going to be something that's going to interrupt this battle. There's going to be some way they're going to be able to escape and not have to finish each other off. But if it does go in that direction, that's even more shocking. And honestly, something I would expect from Hunter x Hunter, because Hunter x Hunter breaks the mold all the time, especially with its characters. They tend to look like they're going to be going down tropey Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto road, and they end up going into a completely different direction and doing something that will blow your mind. And that's exactly what this chapter was all about right here. It was well thought out, it had great action, amazing choreography, and it features two of the coolest characters from the series, and of course Hisoka, who is definitely a fan favorite. Not only a really creepy character, but someone who's extremely badass. And still, this is like the best thing they could have done to like start up this brand new arc, is introducing this random death battle, but it features two of the most cool characters. I loved this chapter, guys. It was fantastic. So I'm going to give this one right here a 5 out of 5. Hunter x Hunter fans, please check it out, but let's face it, you already have. But if any of you guys did read this week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. What do you think of the battle between Hisoka and Chrollo? Do you have a favorite in this fight? Who do you think is actually going to win? Do you think both characters are going to be killed in a blaze of glory? Will there only be one survivor? Are we going into Thunderdome here? 2-man and a 1-man leave? What do you want to see from the rest of the battle between Hisoka and Chrollo? Please tell me in the comment section below. You guys are so freaking kick-ass. Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support the channel, maybe smash that like button. Maybe share this video with some friends. Maybe you could subscribe to the channel. That way you'll see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Not to mention our weekly podcast show, and you should check out all of our cool links in the description box below as well. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!